Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and another video here. Welcome back to what is a incredibly long overdue video. I have been gone for 2 months. Haven't really posted to Instagram outside of like random story posts. Haven't posted here since I think the beginning of February. So I guess what my plan is for this video is I'm going to give you guys just a big old life update. I'm going to paint my nails while I do it. As you guys can see, they are pretty short. They're pretty damaged too. I've just been having a go. I actually have not painted my nails since March 21st, and today is April 17th, so almost a month. It's just been that kind of month, to be quite honest. So I've got a lot to talk to you guys about in the past couple months, so let's just get right into it. I'll just list the shades below if you guys are interested in any of these products here. And the stickers are from Deco Miami, so we're just gonna do like a rainbow Skittle, and then I'm gonna do tone on tone stickers because I just want something fun, kind of little sticker bomb. So let me just zoom you guys in a little bit and then we will get chatting. So I think that my last video was posted shortly before I went on my Bachelorette trip, and actually it was a joint Bachelorette party. So it was me and Rob and my sister, who was my maid of honor, and her fiance, who was Rob's best man. And we drove out to Traverse City, which is, I would say, kind of like maybe like a touristy kind of location in Michigan. And they're known for like their cherries and stuff like that. So, but we just thought, oh, it would be fun to just go get away. And of course, that was the weekend of Valentine's Day. And there was just like a big snowstorm. So, you know, naturally, right? So we couldn't really like walk around a ton because it was really cold, really snowy. And somebody named Hillary did not bring the proper footwear because I don't look at the weather. So we just spent a lot of time in the Airbnb, and we just hung out, watched stuff, ate good food, and just had like a very chill weekend, which was good because we had gotten like a text from our parents shortly before that my granddad, he had been admitted to the VA because he was getting quite sick. And so while we were on the trip, my sister and I, we made a phone call to him, and, you know, we told him, oh, we're in Traverse City, and he said he used to drive out there a lot when he was younger, I think for work or something of that nature. And then he said he used to buy a bunch of their fancy cherries, and, you know, the cherries, they're not cheap. So, and he said that he would eat like a whole container of them on his drive back home. So, you know, it was good to talk to him while we were there. But then as we hung up, he said, I hope I get to see you again. And that was a bummer, I gotta say. You know, he was being realistic, and I understand that, but it was very sad to hear him say that. So that cloud kind of hung over the trip a little bit. My sister and I were like, should we just go back? Like, what should we do? And we decided to end up, we stayed, and he did eventually, my granddad did get transferred out of the VA into like a rehab type home. It was like almost like an interim kind of a, like before you go home, you stay here kind of a thing, specifically for elderly people. And when all that was going on, I was like supposed to be kind of putting the finishing touches on my wedding. And if you guys saw my community post, you saw I said I got married twice, which I think kind of needs a little bit of explaining here. So I fell behind on my signage and stuff like that for my big wedding on the 22nd, and I just wasn't really motivated to do it, to be quite honest. It just wasn't like calling to me. It wasn't the task I wanted to be doing. Okay, I just changed the lighting a little bit. I think that's gonna help. But yeah, so my sister came over to help me with some of like my wedding prep because we're both getting married very close together. I'm already married now, so see, I got my little wedding band there. But so we've been trying to help each other out, and let's try that again. And so she was coming over to help me with some wedding stuff, and Rob was going to go out and see some friends. And I was just, every Saturday, when I wake up, I go into my living room and I listen to this podcast called Case File. It's like one of my favorite podcasts. It's true crime. So if you're not into that, you can tell I'm out of practice. If you're not into that, you won't like this podcast. But I like the guy's voice. I believe he's from Australia. And he just tells the cases in a very non-obtrusive way. He's not like inserting a lot of his own opinions and things like that, which is what I prefer in true crime. I hate when people get a little like dramatic with it because I feel like it's bordering it and it becomes very disrespectful. So anyways, I'm listening to that, doing my little cross stitch, whatever. And Rob had gone to take a shower and I hear this really loud, like slamming noise from the bathroom, which I honestly didn't think anything of at first because Rob likes to like sit down in the shower and I feel like he just kind of like throws his whole body at the ground. I don't know. So I just assumed he had done as he does and he sat down in the shower. But then I heard him like groaning in like what could only be pain. And I was like, oh my God, he has fallen. So I literally throw everything that I had in my hands to the floor, my phone, everything. And I jump up from the couch to run the like 8 feet or whatever it is from my couch to Rob's bathroom. This will get cleaned up. Don't even worry about it, okay? I'm just being a sloppy girl. And in the process of trying to go and save my, at the time, fiance, I fell. I slammed my leg into the ground. And today, actually, I looked at it and there is still like the shadow of a bruise there. But I slammed my leg, I slammed my arm, and it really like knocked the wind out of me. And I almost hit my face on, we have like a mini fridge in our living room that we put drinks in specifically. I almost hit my face on that in the process. And then I had to like army crawl to the bathroom to go see what was going on with Rob. And I look over and he's like pulls the shower curtain back and there's like blood just pouring out of his mouth. And he like, it's not funny, but it kind of is. He like is peeling his lips back and he's like, did I chip my tooth? And sure enough, his 2 front top teeth were chipped. And I was like, are you like, this is a month before our big wedding. And like, obviously I'm concerned predominantly for his health and safety, but also all I could think is we spent thousands of dollars on a photographer and your teeth are going to be chipped in all our wedding photos. Great. Oh, dang it. But so then I called like, I'm trying to get on the phone with our dentist and like that was a whole like hassle because I was worried like if it was chipped far enough up, like I didn't want anything bad to happen to him. Wow, that was really flooded. Come on, Hillary, get your life together. And then of course my sister shows up and I'm like a wreck. And so like that happened. And then March 1st was when we had our first wedding. So let me explain that process. So this confused a lot of people, and I really didn't think that it would. Like, people that I know, like, in real life, I didn't really think it was going to be as confusing as it was. But so here's what happened. When we booked our wedding date, we picked March 22nd at our venue, and I was raised Catholic, but I am no longer Catholic. And Rob is Catholic and he's a convert. So we didn't think about the fact that March 22nd is like smack dab in the middle of Lent, and you are not supposed to get married during the Lenten season. And so by the time Rob got around to speaking to his priest about uh, booking the church for that day and all that, yeah, we were well into it, and it was too late to really change anything. And the priest was like, you have to, get married before your civil ceremony. And so we ended up scheduling to get married at that church on March 1st. And there was a lot of back and forth over this, a lot of will the priest marry us, won't the priest marry us, specifically because of me not being Catholic and having been baptized Catholic. If you're not Catholic, there's a lot of kind of politics within the church, and each priest can do as he wishes. So, like, I guess we could have just gone and found a different priest, but that wasn't really in the cards or really anything I wanted to do. So there were some ultimatums on the priest's end, and inevitably I did concede because I felt like it was more important for Rob to have that, because it is a sacrament in the church, which is significant. It's important. So we did get married on the 1st. It was a family-only affair. So my 2 siblings, their respective partners, my parents, and Rob's parents all came out to the ceremony. And so Rob, not only did he convert to Catholicism, but he converted to Byzantine Catholicism, which is different than the Catholicism I grew up with. So the process of the ceremony is a little bit different. Like, for example, you wear the ring on your right hand. You don't kiss at the ceremony. What else? So there was a part where we had to like walk around a table 3 times, and it was so funny because afterwards my sister was like, "Hey, no offense, but I felt like I was in an A24 film at that wedding," because the priest kept like holding this lit candle way too close to him. And at one point he singed his clothes. He was wearing like a white, like a big white garment, and he singed it. And I was like worried he was going to catch fire or that he was going to set my hair on fire. And then at one point a fly just landed down in front of my sister where she was sitting in the pew and just started twitching and dying. So she was like, "No offense, Hillary, but it felt like I was in an A24 horror film." And I was like, honestly, same. Because like the wind was blowing and it was crazy. So we did that. And then we all went out together to just have like a early dinner afterwards. And then Rob and I, we went to Trader Joe's and got a bunch of snacks and came home and took a nap because for some reason that day took a lot out of us. And then we just kind of carried on, So after that, we were really just gearing up for the big like civil wedding, which was like the one where we actually had like all our friends and family, like bunch of guests and stuff. So really the last thing I had to do was get all the signage done, which I did. And then I had to make these floral wreaths for the tables, which I'm going to show you guys some pictures here soon and you'll see them on the tables. But I ordered my like garland from Costco, and Costco's like, have it delivered 2 days before your event. So it was supposed to arrive on Thursday and it got delayed. And so I took Friday off of work, Rob took Friday off of work so that we could just get everything to the hotel and to the venue. And it was like Friday, I'm just waiting for the garland to arrive so that we can leave. And it's not like we got married not super far, like it's a fairly close. It's like a couple cities over. So it wasn't like we were worried about leaving at like a super specific time. We just had to be there in time for the rehearsal, which was like after work hours. Um so then the garland gets marked as delivered, but it is not at my doorstep. And I'm now freaking out. And I'm calling UPS, I think it was, and I'm just like, where is this? Because usually when something misdelivers, our apartment buildings are weird where like it's split into two, but both sides of this building are the same address, and I can't access the other side internally from inside, so I have to go outside and walk into the front door of the other half of my building, if that even makes sense. Okay, now we're gonna clean up this awful mess. So usually if something says it's delivered and it's not at my doorstep, first thing I do is go to the other half of the building and just make sure it's not there. And Rob could tell I was stressed, so he was like, oh, I'll go check. And he goes and he checks, and he's like, it's not there. So we check every single building, every single floor, every single side of my entire apartment, which there's like, I think there's close to 20 buildings. So I'm like sweating at this point, stressed, running around, just pissed off because the UPS people are saying like, oh, well, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. And then finally I felt like really guilty. And I was like, listen, it's not that I don't trust you, Robert, but I'm just going to run next door and take a second look just to see. And sure enough, they were there the whole time. And Rob was like, oh, I didn't know those were the boxes you were looking for. And I was like, you mean the ones that say Costco flowers and have my name on them? Yeah, no, those were definitely not the boxes that I was freaking out about. So we got the flowers, we got the greenery, and I couldn't even be mad because I was like, let's just leave. Like, I'm very over this whole process. And so we went to the hotel and checked in and got ready for the rehearsal dinner and like the actual rehearsal, which, went well. And it was nice because at the dinner I had some of my friends who were from out of town. I invited them because I just was like, you guys are coming all this way and I barely ever get to see you, and I don't know how much I'm going to get, like how much FaceTime I'm going to get at the wedding. So I very selfishly invited them to the rehearsal dinner as well, just so that I could have a little extra hangout time with them. And that was like my friend Stacy and her best friend Diana. And Stacy is Quality Nails over on Instagram. You guys have heard me talk about her. And my friend Bookish Boricua and her best friend Farah, they both came as well. And so I was very happy about that. And then my friend Tara, who she is Will the Woman Crafts here on YouTube. And I met her through cross-stitching, my cross-stitch YouTube. She came and I invited her to the dinner as well. And it was just a great time. I just really enjoyed myself, and I was feeling like everything was gonna go well. I was feeling very positive about the wedding day. And up to that point, after the flower thing, I was pretty worried. So, that was good. I'm just going to finish cleaning these up off camera because this is going to take too long. Okay, so I let them dry just a little bit, but this is kind of what I ended up with. We're just doing like a spring skittle, I guess. So yeah, let's start adding some stickers. And I think I mentioned this, but I'm going to do like tone on tone. So I'm going to like only purplish stickers on the purple nail, only bluish stickers on the blue nail. I think that'll be fun. We'll see. So yeah, after the rehearsal dinner, my siblings and their partners and we all went back to my hotel room and we made the garland into wreaths, which took a lot longer than I had originally thought it was going to take. It took like 2 hours, and it was incredibly stressful because I didn't really have the right tools. And I'm just glad that I had so many people to help me out because I don't think I would have been able to finish it by myself, or I would have just given up. Oh no, I ripped the sticker. Okay, let's try the next one. So yeah, and then the next day was my actual wedding. We got married at this place called St. John's Resort in Plymouth, Michigan. And it is a really beautiful venue. It used to be a monastery where priests would, train to be priests. And it's been converted into like a luxury wedding hall, I guess. And I got married in the room. Well, so we got, what was it called? The garden pavilion was where we had our actual wedding. And then the reception was in the atrium, which looks like a big old kind of greenhouse type thing. I don't know, but anyways, how about I just show you guys some pictures? So I felt really beautiful. I really loved my dress. My hair and makeup was really nice. I did have one family member make a comment that they did not like my hair up, and I was like, well, I don't know what you want me to tell you because it's too late to change it. Like damaging these stickers, but what can you do? I think that the actual wedding day went so well. It went so smoothly. We had our ceremony. I think it started at like 3:30 or 4. My dad walked me down the aisle. We did the whole thing. My dad forgot to shake Rob's hand before passing me off, so it looked like he was just like, here you go, bye, which was really funny. And then let's put an alien on this nail. And then, I thought that the guy we hired to do, like the officiant, I thought he did a really good job. The only thing is, like, the aisle was way, way too long. So when I was walking down it, I felt like really awkward. And my dad said I was making like this really like uncomfortable face. So he just leans over and he goes, "It's not too late to run. You know that, right?" And then I started laughing, and then we started making fun of my mom, who was like sobbing at the front of the room. So I looked a lot more chill. And then I feel like it needs something else right there, but I'll put maybe a little star. When I got to the front, Rob and I decided to like hold our hands together, which was a mistake because having to hold your arms up and like oops, I'm like totally off camera. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But yeah, having to like hold your arms up like that for like 20 to 30 minutes is not ideal. I don't know why we did that. So that sucked. I think I'm just going to do one sticker on this nail and just do like a straight up smiley face. I know that's not keeping with the tone on tone thing, but I do not care. It's just going to be smiley face right there. So yeah, but everything went better than expected. And then we had to go, take some photos with the photographer, which her name was Nicole Yeager. She's a professional photographer, and she is great at her job because Rob and I both hate being photographed. We're not good at it. And she really took some great shots while making us feel incredibly comfortable. So here are just some shots that I can show you I want to show you the one of me and my dad walking down the aisle because I just think that one looks great. I'll post the one again of me twirling my dress because I really like that one. And if I can get permission from Rob, or there's some that don't like have his face in it directly, I'll post a couple of us together. I know he does not like having his face on the internet. He does not have any social media or anything like that, and I try to respect that of him. That's why you only ever see his hands when he's on this channel. Okay, that's kind of cute, right? This will work. Oh, my watch is telling me to stand up and walk around, but you know what? I've already got 11,000 steps today, so I don't think I need to do that right now. That's like been my thing right now is getting steps in. But yeah, and then we got to go to our own like little private happy hour. I'm gonna use these more purpley ones on my other thumb because I did not see those the first time. And that sucks because I'm right-handed, so placing stickers with my left hand is not going to be fun. But yeah, we got to go to our own little private happy hour where they had like laid out all the stuff that like my guests were getting to eat. They already had our drinks of choice there. We had our own private like personal server for the night. Like, so while everybody else had to go up to the bar, like my server would just bring me drinks at any given point, which was cool. But he had already like set up our chosen drinks, and oh my God, this is so hard to do, you guys. I am not left-handed for anything. My entire family is left-handed except for me, and they can do stuff with like both hands, but I'm only right-handed, so cute. And then we came down like the stairs to some song that Rob chose. I don't know the name of it. And then we went directly into our, I can't remember if it was the cake cutting or the first dance, but it was like, we did our dance, I think, first. And I wanted to dance to Unchained Melody by Elvis, like the Elvis version. And somehow the DJ played the wrong version, but we still got to dance to that song. So like, that's fine. But the thing is, we made sure we were like, let's pick a song that's, you know, fairly short because we're not good at dancing. And, you know, I don't need 120 people staring at me while I can't dance, you know. And the whole time the song was going, Rob and I are like smiling at each other. But like through our teeth, we're like, oh my God, is this over yet? Like, is this done? Like, we just did not understand how this 2 minutes felt so incredibly long. And then we cut our cake, which our cake was beautiful. We opted for like a 3-tier cake. The guy, our server, he was like, yeah, we haven't had like a traditional wedding cake in like several years. So yours is the first one in a long time. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of surprised because I don't know. I guess most weddings I've been to lately, they don't have the traditional wedding cake, which I get because they are pricey. But that was like one thing that Rob really had his heart set on because I think the only experience he really has with weddings is from movies. So I was like, yeah, we'll do it. And then the cake topper I made. So I was very proud of that. And anybody who asked, I made sure to tell them that I made the cake topper. And then they would immediately run back and take a picture of it. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then what else? Oh, the dinner was so good. I got Mediterranean grouper, but we also had filet mignon, and the venue gave us each like extra dinners to take home with us for the next day, which was really nice. And let's put a little daisy on this one because it's got some yellow in there. And just I don't like the best man speech, the maid of honor speech. They were both so great, so touching. They both called Rob and I basically freakazoids in the nicest way possible. My dad's speech was really nice. Everything was such a blur. Like everything went so fast. And I know people say like, oh, that's just how it goes. But like, I honestly thought that my wedding was like a day I was going to have to get through, like that I was going to have to like just kind of soldier on because I'm not like used to being the full center of attention. I'm not used to having that much going on around me, and I get a little bit like keyed up about it, but I had so much fun dancing and drinking and talking with everybody. Like I said, all my friends from online came, and my family was so impressed. They were like shocked that I have cool friends, which I was like, wow, rude. And just, I would not, I wouldn't do it any other way. There were no problems. Nothing went wrong outside of like the floral fiasco from the day before. And I was just so happy. Some of his family from Korea flew in just for the wedding, which is crazy. My family from California, my family from New Jersey, they all came. I had friends from Georgia, from the East Coast, from the West Coast. Like, just people came from all over to celebrate with us. And that was kind of what my dad said in his speech. And it was very nice. I just need one more sticker. I'll put a star. I had to think really hard about that. So yeah, it was amazing. And we got so many wonderful gifts and cards and just, and I forgot to tell you guys, but I wore Orly's Beautifully Bizarre. I ended up settling on that. I wore the Loud Pink. I can't remember the name of it. But I wore that for the first wedding, and then I wore Beautifully Bizarre for like the big wedding. And we invited 123 people. Only 6 did not show up after RSVPing, and that all 6 of those people, it was 2 separate families. It was because they had the flu. So I feel like that's like crazy, unheard of. Like most weddings I hear about, like people, like tons and tons of people just say yes and then they don't show up. So I'm gonna put on I like to use like a glitter grabber over the stickers just so that the top coat kind of sits a little bit more smoothly. So then, and we had an ice cream bar at our wedding. We don't have all the photos yet, so I'll be sure to share more in the future, but for right now, I just have like a sneak peek. And then the next day we went home and recovered. And then that Monday, we flew out to Universal in Orlando. And my sister, she had the day off. So she took us to the airport and she got us there pretty early, which ended up being like a blessing in disguise because right after we got through our TSA checkpoint, the security, Rob was like, "Do you hear that?" I guess some guy was like screaming on the other side of the TSA checkpoint, and he got through. And when you go through TSA in the Detroit airport, you immediately go down this set of escalators to like the main airport. And we see this huge, like well over 6 foot, like nicely dressed man coming down the escalator, just screaming, "I am God." And we were like, okay, hang on. And so we step off to the side and we watch as this man gets fully tased by airport police. And we're like, well, okay, that can only be a sign that things can't go any better or any worse than they are for that guy right now. Like, we'll probably have a really great honeymoon. And I don't know why that to me, a guy getting tased is like a good omen, but it was. And we had the best time. We stayed at the Lowe's Portofino Hotel, which is like one of the Universal resorts. And I've never been to Universal. So, and Rob's a big like theme park guy. So like, that's why we chose to do it. We wanted something where we could relax. We had the option to like go out and have fun, but then we, could like just hang out by the pool and stuff too. And that's exactly what we did. And we were there for like, I think 6 days. So it was a longer trip, but it was nice. So, I got to meet Shrek and I was wearing a Shrek shirt and I was the only person in the line that he was nice to because he saw that I had him on my shirt, which was cool. And, I got to sit in SpongeBob's chair. Like I got to eat this. It's called a Shrekzel. And that green stuff is actually just dyed cheese. I posted this on my Instagram and I had a lot of people asking me like, what the heck is that green stuff? It's just nacho cheese that's been dyed green, but it was worth however many millions of dollars it costs because, theme park food is very expensive. We got tons of souvenirs. We hung out. We went to the pool, which Rob and I have been together for 11 years. We've never gone swimming together. I don't know why, but, I used to swim a lot as a kid, and so we forgot our swimsuits because we still have swimsuits. So we Ubered to the mall and bought some new swimsuits, and then we hung out by the pool, and Rob I got sunburnt too, but Rob got sunburnt, and he's never gotten sunburnt in all the time I've known him, but he also refuses to wear sunscreen. in all the time that I've known him. So I felt like it was deserved. And so now he is on the sunscreen train, and he agrees with me that sunscreen is in fact important. So yeah, we got back from our honeymoon. We took 2 additional days just to chill at home together and all that. And then I had like a short week at work. And then the following Monday of getting back from my honeymoon, I had gone into work and I was feeling pretty good. I woke up early. I had just felt like really super accomplished, and I like got to work early and everything, and I like made a cup of tea and I went and sat down at my desk and I immediately knocked the tea over, spilled it all over my desk. And I was like, oh my God, trying to clean it up. And then at like 8:30, I get a phone call from my dad. And my family's not like the type of family. We don't call each other for like no reason, especially not at 8:30 in the morning. And so I knew immediately what had happened. And I took my phone into the warehouse because it's basically just like a giant garage where we store some stuff, but we do have like a small warehouse attached that nobody's like in, and that's where we all take phone calls. And my father told me that my granddad had passed away. And I didn't think it was going to be hard to say that. He had leukemia for, I think, more than 10 years at this point. And he had been fighting a very long, arduous, and painful battle. There was no curing the type of leukemia that he had. And towards the end, he was in a lot of pain. He could no longer really see in the last month or two. He couldn't really hear. There was just a lot going on. And so it's good that he's no longer suffering, but my granddad was an amazing person. He taught me how to tie my shoes. He taught me just a lifetime love of knowledge and weird facts. He took me to the planetarium when I was a kid. He always was there for us. And so it's just hard to see him go, and especially in such a painful manner. And so I took off work. My sister came over, and then we drove to my grandma's house and just kind of spent the day with all my family. And then Tuesday I had to go back into work and tie some stuff up. It was crazy when I told my boss, like, hey, I have to go, and here's why. He's like, well, when will you be back? And I was like, thanks for the empathy, my guy. But I went back in on Tuesday to tie up some stuff. And then I was on bereavement for the rest of the week. So this is actually like my first full week back to work since my wedding. And, I went out a few times to my hometown to help with some stuff and just see family. And then, it is what it is. And we knew it was coming. So it's not like it was unexpected, but it's still hard. I know it sounds like I'm like glossing over it, but I can't say all the things I want to say because it's too hard right now. So we will have like a memorial for him at the beginning of May, and that's really that. That's all I want to say about that. So, but anyways, so my dad is calling me right now. And so I need to probably go, which is good timing because I just finished this manicure. So I just want to say that from here on out, my goal is to just do a Saturday video. While I get back into the swing of things, you'll be getting, the normal content. You'll be getting reviews and things like that. But for now, expect 1 video a week. Be surprised by 2. I have a review coming up for you next Saturday of a new collection from a brand that I really enjoy working with. and I'm excited to share that with you guys. I appreciate everybody being so just chill about my really long absence, and I hope you guys enjoyed the wedding photos. I know this is not like the funnest video because I'm just trying to just force myself to get back to it, because if I don't start somewhere, I'll never get back to it. So I hope you guys like my cute little spring mani with the Skittle and the sticker bomb, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.